Hi there, name's Nico, and this is just my video going over everything I've done on the channel over the past year. I technically did not start the channel until, what was it? I think it tells you here, February 2nd. Technically, first video wasn't up until February 13th, I believe, but I just wanted to showcase that and cover some of the games I've played, my thoughts and reflections of how the channel was over this past year, and plans for the upcoming year. So I'm gonna scroll all the way down to the beginning. So these are all the videos I've uploaded. There's 254 videos out of 365. Remember, I also did not start at the beginning of the year, so I didn't do anything in January. Channel didn't exist back then. First video, I think it was uploaded the 13th or 14th, so it was like 2 weeks into February. So yeah, there's pretty much at the start. So yeah, here it is. 10 months ago I did about this channel, which is basically kind of what this video is. Similar thing, just about what already happened and what's going to happen. I started this year's channel off playing Resident Evil 4 and Hollow Knight, just for like doing an indie game in AAA, and you can see my thumbnail style has also changed as time has gone on. You'll see this is like the first style I went with, which was saying like, oh, here's the game's name, this is the part we're on. So I actually put like part 3 instead of like 2, 3, just the number. I actually did custom thumbnails for each of the Resident Evil 4 playthroughs, so you can see I took a scene from each moment in the game and I used it for the thumbnail. Did a little minor editing, but like nothing too major. And then here's the DLC playthrough. A lot of these parts started off between 1 to 2 hours overall, and surprise, the game length of each parts went longer on average. So you can see I have Portal. I did a complete Portal playthrough. Couldn't figure out how to do custom thumbnail for this one, like ideally what I wanted. So this thumbnail is not that great, I'm gonna be honest with you. So this is my first playthrough of Portal, and honestly, I did really enjoy Portal. Hollow Knight, I do say now, Hollow Knight is my favorite indie game of all time. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought, and I am very excited for Silksong to come out, whenever that will be. It's just like the second, I don't know if it's like sequel or whatever, we'll figure it out when it comes out, of course. Resident Evil 4, I watched someone play the game, but I was glad to play it myself, but was like surprised with the plot or anything. I don't know, do people really play Resident Evil for like the story? Like a lot of times I feel like it's a game that people play for the gameplay, not as much the story, maybe a bit for the characters, but I don't think people play it like for the monsters that you like, the bosses, because there's a lot of boss fights in Resident Evil 4 in separate ways. I have Portal 2, I have 3 parts for that. You can see it was like, oh, I want to keep parts between 1 to 2 hours, so the first part was really short, and then the second one became even longer, and then the third part was even longer. So I should have kind of kept them. I just made this one a lot longer and then make this one shorter. But you know what? It is what it is. Then I played Resident Evil 2, which is also considered. Again, I'm doing my best. The channel's theme is playing like highly rated games that have come out. The only exception for this is I played Resident Evil 3 on the channel. I know 3 was not rated that well, to be honest, but it's. Yeah, I got the game. I technically I saw it played, but I wanted to kind of keep the series flow of people like, oh, I watched 2, oh, now I want to watch 3, and then imagine 3 is just not on the channel, but then there's 4 on the channel, so I was kind of say, okay, well, I'll put 3 on, even though it's not considered that well made, or like not a highly rated game. Again, a lot more Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight took me a while to complete, because again, I started most of my parts being like an hour to like an hour and a half. And I've also changed my format with the first part. I'm trying to make the first part longer So like 2 to 2.5 hours I'm aiming for the first part, and then being shorter on future parts. So if you're like more enticed, you'll just maybe having that extra bit of content will appease you, you know. So yeah, Hollow Knight took me a while to beat. You can see the later's gone on, so this is 150, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. This is almost 3 hours. Then this one, it was short. Technically I should have combined these two, but basically what happened is I recorded this one, thought this was the end of the game, and then it turns out I was mistaken and this is the actual end of the game. So that's really, these should be one part, but it's fine. Yeah, and since I was starting to get my lengths a bit better, well, yes and no. I guess these ones are fine. I could have probably made, well, I could have probably combined these parts, to be honest, to make the ending. And then this is fine, to be honest. Resident Evil 3 again. I'm mad at this playthrough because I missed like the mag, which if you haven't played any Resident Evil games or haven't seen any of my playthroughs, there's different weapons you can get, and you have the Magnum, which is like a pistol that is high damage, and it's generally like it's one of the best guns in the game. And unfortunately I missed it on my playthrough of Resident Evil 3. Let's see, if I hover it, you can see I guess a moment from it, me being chased by one of the monsters. So I'm sad that I missed it, but yes, goodbye Resident Evil games for now. Will I be playing any more Resident Evil games this year? Probably not. There hasn't been any announcement for Resident Evil 9. I haven't played. I've watched Village, I believe. I watched it, but I'm trying to remember if I watched it the full thing. I've watched Resident Evil 7 twice now. So, and that one is, my opinion, the scariest Resident Evil game. I'll definitely play it on the channel. Play 7 and 8. I'm assuming they're gonna remake 5 soon. That's because they've remade 4, right? Like last year. So I guess I'm recording this on January 1st, so technically 2 years ago, right? Or is it 3 years ago? Was it 2022 that game came out? Oh my gosh. I don't know how long it was. But yeah, then I did one quick short one, was just Journey, and this was honestly a really like sweet game. I'd say kind of like Hollow Knight, since there's like no talking. I guess there's a little bit of talking, but your character doesn't talk. This one has some, I think it has some text. I think it does. Anyways, it's more like symbolism, and yeah, the game is quite sweet. You could definitely, I generally think it's a game that you play once, but there are people who play it multiple times. It's a nice, it's like a little movie. You can see like an hour and a half. I mean, like short movie. Movies are like 3 hours these days. And then yes, Hades. Hades is the first exception I made because I said I would not play games that I have to play over and over again because they don't have an end to them. But I said Hades would be an exception because there's technically is an ending to Hades. So this was the start of my Hades playthrough. You can see at this point I've not made any custom thumbnails. I kind of stopped that for after Portal because again, this is more the channel for me to play games. I don't want to be working too hard on the thumbnail. It's not that I was working that hard on the thumbnails in the first place. Control, a game I actually played before, and I literally stopped I think right before the last mission because I mentioned it in my Control playthrough. Something like broke, so I I completed all the side missions as well, just wrapped up everything I could. This is after I beat the game, so I didn't expect many people wanted to know the side missions, but I don't guess there's a few people who did. And yeah, and then after Control, this is when I was excited for the Elden Ring DLC release, so I did a complete playthrough of Elden Ring. This is in what I started in like I think May or June or whatever, and then my house had no internet for like 2 to 3 weeks because someone cut the line. They went on accident, not purposely cut the line. Someone was doing like construction on their property, and they ended up cutting out the Wi-Fi line between our house and like the server. and so we didn't have any internet for several weeks. And Elden Ring was the only game on my PC at the time that I could play. See, I took a pretty big hiatus from it, mainly because I was getting bored of the game. It was like all the same spell over and over again. But once I just had no internet, you can see that's why I uploaded them all just back to back to back to back, because I I recorded these all back to back to back to back, and that was the only game I could record because I didn't have anything on my computer otherwise. But I'm glad that I like did play the game again. I actually really enjoyed my playthrough more in the second half compared to the first half, I will be honest. Just because, again, it just kind of feels slow in the first area. It's just because, like, we're not that strong. But I also did more custom thumbnails. This is like the first or the last time I did custom thumbnails. So what I did was each new area we explore, I put that as the background, and so you can see like where we were. So like from Azula, you can see the background of it. You can see the ending area in the background, and then I even did that for the DLC, which the DLC was quite long as well. You can see this is the ending, which took me 3.5 hours, but it's more like 3 hours, and I rambled for half an hour, maybe even 45 minutes. But you can see I even did the background for all the different areas. We were in this one for quite a bit, to be honest, but because this area is quite big. But yeah, I'll go back down because I kind of scrolled past a few things. Celeste to me was way too hard to beat. I was going to try to beat chapter 7, 8, and 9, but I was recording it, and I literally turned on cheese to see if I could beat it faster, and I literally couldn't beat it. I was just so frustrated, so I gave up and just actually did the main game. The credits rolled for here, so I was like, you know what, I think it's fine. But if you're looking for a challenging platform game with I'd say like pro mental health messaging in it, which in like symbolism of like climbing mountain and like going over like roadblocks in your own like life or like mental health and dealing with that, then this is definitely a good game. Out of all the indie games I played, this is honestly like my least favorite one, and I feel bad to say it. Not that it's bad, it's just out of like what I consider the list of top 5 indie games, this one was just not the strongest for me, but it's mainly because I was struggling a lot with the platforming of it. I did one off of called Helltaker. It was a top rated game on Steam. It's free. You can play it right now if you have Steam. If you don't want to spend any money, you're like, oh, I want a free game to play. Hit Helltaker, cute little puzzle game. And so yeah, I also played the DLC in this as well, so that's why it's 2.5 hour video. If you only want to play the main game, I think it took me 1.5 hours. So then I played One Shot. The thing I like about One Shot is the main character's name is Nico. It's spelled the same way as me, so I was like, oh yeah. So I said it's the Nico Squad because it's both of us. Our names are Nico. So yeah, I think I saw Markiplier play it like years and years ago. I didn't remember it at all, so this was just a quite unique indie game for sure. Hello Cinema Sacrifice. The reason why I played this was because Hellblade 2 was coming out, and then I found out that my PC could not handle playing the game because it needs 8 gigs of dedicated graphics driver, like the RAM or whatever in the graphics driver. Maybe it's not RAM, I don't know my proper term. So I played through this. Not that this game was bad at all. I think it was, honestly, I thought it was pretty good. Like, maybe not like 10 out of 10 like Elden Ring, of course, but I thought it was a solid like 8 out of 10 game. So, and the acting, like, I forget what the actress name is, like, she did a great job. And for the second one, she actually won like best game performance, or like best actor of the year, or whatever, guest game performance of the year. I forget the actual name of the award. But for Hellblade 2, it's the same character as the lead. It's her, I forget the actress name, I do apologize, but she won the award for that. Like, her acting is great. So I do want to play the second game. Hopefully I'll upgrade my computer soon so I can actually play it. I do apologize, I am a bit sick, so I just need Yeah, I wanted to record more during as I'm done school for the next like 2 weeks. I think still a week and a half at this point, but I've been sick, so I haven't been recording, which sucks. So I'm feeling a bit better, hopefully in the next few days, or even I'll try again maybe tonight to record something else on this video. At the end of the year, then I played through Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Actually, really good games. I really did enjoy Will of the Wisp a lot better than the first one. But of course, a lot of times it's like the first one's the best one, or the second one. I always find out even from movies, it's the same case. That's because they learned what players like didn't like as much, and they from the first game, and like change it for the second game, and then add new mechanics that maybe like other games had that people really liked into theirs. So I really did enjoy the second Ori game. But the first one wasn't bad at all for sure. Like, you're looking for I'll call it a cute, it is sad, so I don't know if cute is the right word, platformer like Metroidvania like Hollow Knight, but more colorful and less dark atmosphere than I guess the Ori games would be for you. I don't know if they're making a third one. If they are, I will play it on the channel for sure. I've played a couple more like one-off games. Like I have Florence here. This is a short. It was actually a mobile game. I think it's won like best indie game when it came out, and I think it won like best mobile game when it came out back in, I don't know, was it 2016, 2017, something like that. And I think it was sweet. Like, to me, it wasn't anything to write home about, but I'm reading for like, again, this is even like a shorter one. If you have like if you want to watch like one episode or whatever, and you just want like a short game, then this was it. The puzzles were quite sweet. You could technically play it multiple times to see how things kind of change, just because there's like a lot of achievements in the games based off like how you play the mini games. But I only did one playthrough. I don't think the story really changes. I think it's more like the mini game results change. I don't think I did that well. Then Vemba, I played Vemba because I saw I was nominated for a bunch of like indie games of the years, or like a bunch of indie game awards back in 2023, and I wanted to try it myself to see, but I wish they had a little bit more cooking in it. It was more visual novel than I thought, which I like visual novels, so that was fine, but I was expecting more of a cooking game but it was more like a visual novel with a cooking game side puzzles, more as the cooking game with a little bit of visual novel. So that was the only thing, but it's just maybe I didn't understand fully about the game. The game was okay. I don't think it, again, is the same thing with like Florence, anything to really write home about. And this is all Elden Ring, because I played that all then. And if you wanted to see me beat the final boss of the Elden Ring DLC, I have a short video of just that. I just took a clip from here because I thought maybe other people would want to know, like maybe they're doing like a mage build and they were struggling with it, so I showed how I did it. And then this was in July, so I had no school and I had a bunch of free time. So I recorded a bunch of games. I recorded the developers, I think it was like Playdead, who made Limbo Inside, and then also, I don't think it was the same studio, but I think like a couple of the people who made Playdead worked on called Cocoon. So I did like all three of those games in a row, mainly because Cocoon was nominated for a bunch of indie games, and these are like a couple like just short games as well. So like it's just 2 parts with like 3 hours. Well, let's see, yeah, close to 3 hours, maybe a little bit more than 3 hours. Games, Limbo, and Inside. Honestly, I thought they were like decent indie games for sure. I mean, also you can just watch my thoughts on the game. Red Dead 2, it's my favorite game of all time. So as you can see, this is my favorite game of all time. It's part 1, and I played through the entire thing. I did every side quest. I did not 100% the game, because 100% I had to like find all the animals, do all the challenges, So I didn't do that. I've already done that in the past, so I'm like, I'm not gonna do it again. But I did. Also, I got all the legendary animals and all the legendary fish, and did all the side quests and of course the main story. So there's each part is about 2 to 3 hours. And I'm advancing. You also see how my thumbnail styles definitely changed from here all the way from like down here. You can see it's more defined from like the Hades or is it part whatever. Even like down here, see it's a lot more. I feel like it's more modern, looks a lot better than my old thumbnails did. You know, like the inside limbo. So um yeah, so this game is quite long. Here's like even like a 3 hour part, 2 hours, 2.5, 2 hours 40, 220, 240. Like, you know, like most parts are getting closer to 3 hours long. I don't think any of the episodes were over 3 hours. This one's 250. Yeah, they were approaching this one's 3 hours exactly. Well, like 45 seconds, but you know what I mean. I don't think anything were like really over 30 or 3 hours, but yeah, they're definitely getting a lot longer. Yeah, it's still my favorite game of all time. Glad I played it. I'm glad it's there for the channel. But yeah, other game in between that, the Plague Tale, Innocent Plague Tale Requiem. Actually, surprisingly, my Plague Tale Requiem series was my most popular series I've done. You can see, yeah, like I'm not gonna gloat about the views or anything. Like it's 20 views, which is not a lot, but it was a lot. It's a lot for this channel. So I was very surprised that a lot of people watched my Plague Tale Requiem playthrough, and even the last part had 19 views. So, and as I said, I really did enjoy the game a lot more than I thought. Generally, to me, a good sign of a game is if I think about the game for a few days after I finished beating it, which I did for Plague Tale Requiem. So I was uh, pleasantly surprised about it because I feel like a lot of YouTubers didn't play this game. I feel like I didn't see much media about the game, to be honest, but I really did enjoy it. And the same with less so Plague Tale Innocence. I think Requiem was a lot better than Innocence, but that's also because Innocence, my understanding, was more of like an indie game versus like a double A. Like the budget increase from the first to second was quite significant, so they could, I guess, work on it a lot more and less clunky animations. The UI was a lot better. Just a lot of like, and like I guess new features like they added on from the first game and the second game. Again, same with like the Ori series, but yeah, I really didn't. I think this is the most surprised game I played out of all the games I played for the year, just because like I knew it was like good or like well rated, but I didn't know it was like that good. And so yeah, I was happy I played that one. Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah, this one was a lot of talk, and I played it around the time when people found that the Tango GameWorks is the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush. Closed or got closed by Xbox Studios because they own Tango GameWorks, and so I wanted to try the game out. This is also when I got the Game Pass, so I got Game Pass also for like Requiem, for Cocoon. Those are the reasons why I got Game Pass, and also it was because I wanted to play Hellblade 2, so yeah, that how it worked out. But anyways, I played Hi-Fi Rush. I think the game is fine. I actually struggled a lot more than I thought because I'm generally very good at rhythm games. Like I love like Guitar Hero, Muse Dash isn't one I play on PC, but I struggled a lot with this one. I got better near the end, but I wouldn't say like I was that great. But yeah, I think the game got better as actually the game went on. I think the beginning is quite slow to me, and I really liked part 3, part 4, and then part 5 is the ending. So Citizen Sleeper, that one was honestly kind of surprising. I didn't, more like a visual novel with like turn-based elements, like energy-based things. I did actually enjoy this game quite a bit. I wouldn't say as much as Plague Tale, but I think it was fine for like what it was. And I will play the second one when it comes out. I think there's like Citizen Sleeper 2 coming out soon. Added it to my wish list. It's another game I'd want to play. You saw it. It was a game I never heard much about in the media at all. But then I heard it was got nominated again for a bunch of like Game of the Year awards for 2023, or it was maybe not Game of the Year awards, but like highly talked about as one of the best indie games that came out. It's made by Don't Nod, which Don't Nod also made Life is Strange. Is their like big game? Like I mean, it's published by Square Enix, but Don't Nod is I think the actual game studio that made it. But this is not published by Square Enix. This is just, I think this is actually published directly by Don't Nod, if I remember correctly. And unfortunately, I did have a bunch of like frame rate issues in my playthrough. It looks pretty choppy because when I record with my VTuber model in the game, if it's a newer game, and then it generally drops the frame rate as it's trying to like process the VTuber model as well as the game. So this is probably a game I need to play not with a VTuber model, just because of how new it was, even though I wouldn't say the graphic quality or the graphics of the game are quite high. Then we have Brothers, Tale of Two Sons. I didn't know much about this game. My favorite YouTuber, I watched John Wolf. He actually played this on his channel around the same time I think I did. And I think that's the reason I saw it was also on Xbox Game Pass. I heard also was looking at the list. I've been mainly deciding what games to play, which is acclaimed video games. I'm trying to do again like indie AAA. Most of the top like 100, like the top 100 best games are mainly AAA, because a lot of like indie games is more of a recent thing. I would say overall, like there aren't a lot of like really good indie games. Like they're starting to be like now for sure, but like I think like 10-15 years ago there wasn't. So this was a game, I think it came out 10 years ago. I think it was 2014, maybe it was somewhere between 2011 2014, I believe, if I remember. So it's actually kind of a very unique mechanic. I don't think the story is very bizarre, so if you want to be what the hell what I mean by that, I recommend you watch it. It's only 2 parts. Yeah, the reason why I think this one's out because they remade the game. Yeah, I didn't play the remake, I played the original one, and then I thought it was fine for what it was. Tomb Raider was one of the games I've been wanting to play for a while, because I played the 3rd one and I really liked the 3rd one of the reboot series, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and so I finally got around to playing the 2013 one. And honestly, it's Tomb Raider, you love it. At least I love it. And yeah, casting and Frank Stone. Unfortunately, my playthrough of this is like god awful. Like I'm so surprised anyone, like I'm assuming most of the people who like clicked on the video just like clicked off of it. It was not a good playthrough, mainly because again this game came out this year, and so my frames of the game were terrible. Like I had a lot of frame issues in it, because I think this game also is a game that required 8 gigs for the graphics card, and mine's only 4 gigs. So yeah, but the game itself was not good at all. I love Supermassive games because it's a Supermassive game, but the game was just not that great. Tunic, unfortunately, this is a game where I planned on playing more of the game, but I ran out of the Game Pass. I didn't want to renew it, and so I only have part 1, and I will probably go back to Tunic, but for now you just got part 1 on the channel. And yeah, and at this point, this is when my school started back up again. This is about like early September, so I wasn't able to record games as often as I want. I started going from daily uploads to every other day, so, or even like a lot of breaks in between. So yeah, so I did Rise of the Tomb Raider because I said I do that immediately after. Yeah, I played that, and honestly, Rise was really good. Rise was considered even better rated than the first one. I think that's the same with like the Ori series. Just again, they've like learned what worked in the first game, removed what didn't work, and then added features that from other games. My understanding, they've added things from the Uncharted series, which is another series I do plan on playing on the channel eventually. And Yeah, it was, and I thought it was like pretty good. I also had the one DLC, which is the Hear This episode I did about the Baba Yaga. It was a DLC that I got with the game, I guess when I bought it years and years ago. I don't remember. So yeah. And then I did Life is Strange. The reason why I played this is because the Life is Strange Double Exposure came out this year, and I wanted to see, like, I never actually played Life is Strange. I watched someone play it because the game came out, I think 2013, and maybe it was 2015. So I'd say this is like an indie game that maybe it's a more of a double A, I guess. Again, it was made by No Nod, but it was published by Square Enix, and Square Enix is definitely like a triple A studio. So yeah, I did the remastered version. That's why I put it on here. It says like remastered edition. And for what the game was, I think it was fine. I just didn't like how the ending, and I really didn't like the fact that it felt like the choices really didn't matter in the game. But that's my complaint with like the Life is Strange series in general. And then I also wanted for to do something for like Halloween, more like a scary game. So I did The Last of Us. I actually thought I watched someone play it, but I literally don't remember. And I never remembered anything about it. So this was basically as if I played it blind, to be honest. Like, maybe I didn't watch it. Like, I don't remember anything that happened in the game other than the ending scene, which I think was like it's an iconic scene. Like, you've seen it, right? And technically, I knew the intro because I watched the HBO Last of Us TV show. I watched the first like few episodes of it. In the second one, I guess the first two parts, but like the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, like I didn't. Well, more of the third, fourth, fifth. I didn't remember anything at all, so it was kind of I played it for sure. And then I played Double Exposure, and that game honestly wasn't that great. I really was disappointed. Don't watch the fourth part. This one, you can literally see it's literally a slideshow. I screwed up the recording, and I didn't want to re-record the entire part. That was on my mistake because I played it with my VTuber model at first, but then the game was at like 30 FPS, 15 FPS, most of it. So then I got rid of it for this part, for part 5, and the game ran a lot smoother. So, um, yeah, if you want to watch episode 4, I highly recommend someone else's. I don't even really recommend you watch this part, my playthrough, but if you want to see what my thoughts were on the game, you can definitely check that out. I just did the same thing as I did with the first Life is Strange. Is each episode, each part is each episode, so there's 5 episodes. Part 1's episode 1, part 2 is episode 2, etc. And then, of course, since I played Last of Us, I gotta play Last of Us Part 2. And Last of Us, the first one is considered a lot better than the second one, but a lot of people, and I think a lot of things still say, things like journalists, publicists, whatever, still consider Last of Us Part 2 a top 100 game, just not as good as the first one. I think mainly because the plot resonated a lot better for the first game compared to the second game. As you can see, the second game was also a lot longer. It took me 11 parts, of each part being about, what, like 2 hours? Yeah, maybe 210. And then this one I had, I guess it was a 210, except for the last part was like an hour and a half. So, but yeah, it was basically double the length of the first game. And but yeah, I already played The Last of Us Part 2, so this was a replay for the channel and also just to re-experience the game because I was also playing the Tomb Raider games here, and I played the first Last of Us, and I wanted to re-experience the stealth and the game mechanics as well as the story. Like, I think the story of the first one, I mean, I'll be honest, I think the story of the first one's a lot better. I think the story of the second one is fine, and then I discussed a lot here about my thoughts about the last part. I really did not like that section of the game. I won't spoil what it is if you're gonna watch it on yourself and you haven't got around to it. And then I finally went back to being able to do indie, um, and triple A, and like around this time because and like exams, exam season started technically, so I was able to be at home. I didn't have to commute, so I actually had a lot more free time on my hands. And yeah, and also just done school. So I played through all of Disco Elysium, and now I'll say Disco Elysium is my second favorite indie game of all time. I really did enjoy it. I basically did a character, you can see here, like I kind of based it around like myself, and I played it through like my lens, of course. Apparently, someone did a comment on this part that said that what I chose was like the most common route people did. Most people did like the intellect one, but I think it's just because the type of game it is. People who play detective RPGs are going to go the more intellect. Like, you're not thinking like, oh, I want to play the buff detective or like the emotional reader detective. Like, you want to play like the I want to be Sherlock Holmes type of detective, you know? So I think that's why it's just the nature of the game. I played the Final Cut version because I don't even think the base version is on Steam anymore. I heard something about like the people who made the game and like the publisher had some like conflict. I don't really know much about it, so I don't want to speak on it that much, but I think that's why you can't get the base version anymore and they just have the Final Cut. And but yeah, that game was actually really good, and I think my playthrough was really good. The only thing is there's no background music. Apparently the Final Cut has a streamer mode, and I didn't see it, so I do apologize for that fact, because when I looked online I saw nothing about nothing about streamer mode, and so I just muted the music after the part 3. So for 4 hours had no music in the background. And then Shadow of Tomb Raider is honestly a lot shorter than I remember. I did most of the side missions, not all of them. I already played through the game 100%, so I didn't really want to play it a lot more. Yeah, and in terms of story, actually, I think in it originally it's like, oh yeah, the story is actually like good, but then the longer I've gotten it into the playthrough, the more I've been thinking about it, I was like, actually the story wasn't that great. I mainly just like the gameplay, which the stealth mechanics I thought were like the best out of all the games. Yeah, including like even like The Last of Us. The Last of Us had a lot of good stealth mechanics, but I think my favorite was like the mud mechanic and like the tree mechanic that the Tomb Raider has. So yeah, that was of that. And then the last series of the year was Undertale, because I wanted to make sure I got like what most people consider like the top 5 best indie games of all time, which would be Hollow Knight, Hades, Disco Elysium, Celeste, Undertale. I think that's generally the consensus of top 5 best indie games. I don't really see an argument for anything else. Maybe Minecraft, I guess you could say. Now Minecraft's not indie, like it's managed by Microsoft at this point because it got bought out, of course. But obviously when it came out, it was an indie game, so you could argue Minecraft. But I feel like when I see most lists, the 5 games I mentioned. So I wanted to really end the year with playing Undertale. I wanted to do more games other than Undertale, but again, I've been sick, and I literally try to record the next series, and I'm like coughing every minute. Just trying to record it. Luckily, I'm not coughing as much now. I only had to cough a few times. But trying to do it a few days ago, I was just coughing every like minute or so, and I felt really bad about the playthroughs. Or like I didn't want to record more of it because I don't want you guys, as the reaction isn't as like great, and it's like kind of awkward for you guys because you have to just wait while I'm like, I don't like cough in the mic, I mute it, but you have to like wait for me to like react to the next part, and I'm like distracted. It's just not a good look as well. So yeah, I went through this a lot longer than I thought. Oh my gosh. I didn't do any scripts, so I was definitely rambling about all the games I played this year, but if you count all the hours that I've put on the channel, if there's 254 videos, a couple of them are shorts, I think they count. I decided to like dabble in shorts with some of the playthroughs, so I did short for the last, or I did this more like, I did 2 Last of Us shorts and 1 Life is Strange Double Exposure short. And actually, surprisingly, they did decently well. The Last of Us short did a few hundred views, which I did not expect. This one didn't do as well, but you know what? They can't all be winners. And even then, 24 views is more than like I think all the videos on this channel pretty much. So you know, beggars can't be choosers. And but yeah, anyways, rambling about 40 minutes about all the video series that I've done for this year. Like, I know it's quite a while, but if you consider that each part I've played is about 2 to 3 hours, the earlier series were more 1 to 2 hours for the first like month or two. So I'll just say 2 hour average, maybe even more, like even higher than that. But that's like 500 hours of content, and I'm summarizing it in 40 minutes. That's pretty impressive. 500 and condensed to 40. But yeah. Now, in terms of next year, I'm hoping. Unfortunately, my next semester is going to be even harder than this semester was. But the main issue is I would record more, but it's the main fact is I'm not as home as much. I have my next semester one. I'll even be home a little. It's gonna be mixed because 2 of the days I can actually get home early, so I only have to do half days at my school. But I don't know about Fridays. It's an iffy. Just seeing if I actually need to be in person or not for them. I'll have to see. These last semester I did not have to go on Fridays at all, but I have to be there every day from like 8 to 6, 8 to 8, 4 days a week, and it takes me like an hour to commute each way, so it's like 2 hour commute. So that's why I just didn't have the time to record as much as I wanted to. So like that's why I do apologize that recordings were kind of obsolete from September onwards. You still got like what I'll say from like here, but this will go like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 55 videos in like 4 months. So I know it's not. So it's more like a video every other day than every day. So that's why, because if you think of each day is 30 days, right? On average, I know 30, 31, 30, 31, but yeah, it's just every other day instead. So yeah, I do apologize, but we'll see how the schedule looks like for next year. I'll keep trying to do like I said here, daily videos at 1 p.m. I've been keeping consistent at the 1 p.m. time. I don't think I've posted any video other than the shorts at different times. Yeah, in terms of games I have for next year, it's mainly going through again what acclaimed video games said. Let's see if I can pull that up. So here, so this is the site I've been now using to determine what games to play. Breath of the Wild is #1 on this list, and you might be like, oh, I've never played Breath of the Wild, by the way. I've only seen like a little bit of the game. I don't really know much about it, and so I do plan on playing Breath of the Wild this year. I actually got the game for Christmas from some family, and that's what I asked for. So but I wanted to play most if not all the Zelda games in order, because I've never played a Zelda game in my life, and I wanted to get an experience of that. So I didn't want to play Breath of the Wild first and then like jump back and play old Zelda games like Ocarina of Time. I know there's a lot of good one. Link to the Past. There's a lot of Zelda games on this list here. Like I'm sure you can look like you can see Legend of Zelda. Look at all the results about. There's 12 Zelda games in the top 1,000 list. Skyward Sword is the worst one, apparently. I don't know. Maybe that's maddening Zelda fans right now. How dare they say Skyward Sword the worst one? Like, I don't know. This is just an accumulation of all like several different game publishers and their reviews of it. So yeah, I also got Tears of the Kingdom as well. So that's why I'm ready to like go on that. Will I be doing it this year? We'll see if I have time. So the main games, I'll just clear filters. Main games I wanted to play this year. So this year announced was that Witcher 4 is coming out, but Witcher 4 I don't think will be out for a few years. So I was actually gonna play this like shortly after I finished, like soon after this. I think I was actually gonna just like jump into it immediately, but since Witcher 4 has been announced, I think I'm gonna hold off on playing it until closer to the Witcher 4 release date, which I don't think will be for a few years, 2026, 2027, which I know it's kind of disappointing because it's like a top 10 game, but there's so many other games I can play that I think it's fine. And see, out of the top 10 list, I've actually only played 2 of the games on the channel so far, Elden Ring and The Last of Us. I was working my way on playing Half-Life. I want to play Half-Life before Half-Life 2, but I already tell you, I got super bored playing Half-Life. I was like, oh gosh, like the game came out in 98. It plays like a 98 game because I watched my dad play Doom. Not all the time, but like I've seen him play a few times because that's the game my dad only plays these days. He just plays like Doom mods or like custom maps that people make in Doom, like Doom 1993. That's what I mean when I say Doom, not the 2016 version, then the 1993 version. So it looks very similar to that. And anyways, I don't want to bash the game. It's like I'm sure it's good for its time, but obviously it's just the game mechanics has not kept up with modern gaming. So yeah, I want to work more on the games on this list. Also, I said I wouldn't play Resident Evil 4. So I played the remake already, and I know it's not the same as the base game, but I don't want to plan on playing the original because my understanding of the remake of Resident Evil 4 was pretty spot on to how the original one was. Maybe there's like a few exceptions in dialogue, but in like scenes, I think they kept the scenes pretty spot on from what I've heard. And I have not seen anyone play Resident Evil 4. I watched a little bit of my favorite YouTuber play like part of it, but I haven't seen like a complete playthrough. But yeah, the main games I wanted to get to because I got a bunch of games for again birthdays, Christmas, and the main ones will be I want to do God of War. That's what I'm gonna do it next. Right here, God of War, because I also got God of War Ragnarok. I got a great deal on it during like we have like in Canada there's a holiday after Christmas called Boxing Day, and it's kind of like a Black Friday. I call it mini Black Friday, and it's basically like things go on sale. But the actual original basis of the holiday is why it's called Boxing Day is because you're supposed to box up your Christmas tree, put away all the Christmas stuff, in boxes, and pack up all your Christmas stuff for the next year. So yeah, that's the main reason. So I'm gonna anyways, I got a good deal on God of War Ragnarok, so I'm gonna play God of War, then God of War Ragnarok, but before I do that, I'm actually gonna I'm downloading it right now as I'm recording it. I've already played through the game, but I've been wanting to play through it again, and that is Baldur's Gate 3. Because there's another list I've been using for best games, which is Open Critic. I mentioned that in the About section. This one I've still stuck to since oh, that's me. Hi. Let me just pull this back up. Yeah, since I've recorded it. So I've been using this list as well for games, and on here it has Baldur's Gate. This is all platforms, but for PC it has Baldur's Gate is the best game of all time. Played Red Dead on PlayStation 4. GTA 4 I'm actually going to play before GTA 5, right when GTA 6 comes out, so that's going to be more the summer, early fall. I don't think I'll play GTA 6 immediately when it comes out because I'm going to get it for PlayStation 5, and hopefully I'll get PlayStation 5 for my birthday, because my birthday's in October, or in Christmas, I don't know, one of those two. So I'll play it around then. But yeah, this game apparently came out. I've never heard of this game once in my life, but I looked up and it looks like it's like an action roguelike, so I'm probably not going to play it. I've played Persona 5 Royal, probably replay it for the channel eventually. I'll have to look into the rights of the game. But yeah, I've been playing a lot more of these games. Like I've played Hades, I did Shadow of the Erd Tree. We'll play Divinity Original Sin. I think I'll play that next year, or this year for sure. I've already did Journey, Undertale. I have the house in Fata Morgana, actually. I bought it on Steam years and years ago. I have this one, but I wanted to play the first two first. I don't have a VR set for Half-Life Alyx, Witcher 3 I already explained. And then this game came out, which I do want to play. I have so many other games in the backlog that I'm not going to play yet. But yeah. Anyway, so Baldur's Gate is actually going to be the next AAA game playthrough. I'll start working on it once it's downloaded. It's like an hour download because it's 150 gigabytes big. It's huge. But the main series, like the set of games I actually wanted to get to this year, are the Dark Souls games and all the FromSoft games. So Bloodborne is actually rated 25 here, and the first Dark Souls is here 34. And then I think I can even look up. I think you can even look up. No, you can't look by studio. I thought you could. Anyway, click on it instead. Yeah, okay, so like all these games. Okay, so not Demon Souls is a PS3 game. I think they made it for the PS5, so when I get PS5, I'll play Demon Souls. Because they made a remake of it. But yeah, I have Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and Sekiro, and I already played Elden Ring. So I'm going to do a FromSoft games, all of them, except for Demon Souls again. I mean, maybe even Demon Souls once I get... I'll play the remake one, the one in 2020. So, yeah, I have a PlayStation 4, and that's where I'm going to play the other games. Because, like, Bloodborne is only PlayStation 4. Actually, I got Dark Souls 2 from PC, so I'm going to play 2 on my computer and 1 on my PlayStation 4. Because they remade it for PlayStation 4, or like, I guess so. So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to do for this year. For sure, for big series. Maybe I'll get to the Zelda games. I'm not 100% sure. Other games I wanted to do is the BioShock series. I have all 3 games. Epic Games gave them away for free. Excuse me, gave them away for free last year, I believe, during around the Christmas holidays. So I'm gonna play through all 3 of them. I believe there's only 3 games. If there is more, I mean, I only have 3, I think. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Then I'm gonna play through probably Mass Effect as well. But the main ones I wanted to do is God of War, Baldur's Gate, God of War, and the FromSoft series. That's already quite a lot of hours, my understanding. And if I do only 500 hours, like already thinking about it, like the FromSoft games, like if there's like 5 of them, or 5 of them there, yeah. 3 Dark Souls, Sekiro, and Bloodborne. I'm gonna play all 5. The Sekiro I have on my PC. That's the one I also have a PC. If each one of those games is gonna be like 50, 60 hours, it's already like what, 250, 300 hours. So yeah, it's gonna be a while. The God of War, I think the first God of War is like 30 hours. God of War Ragnarok might be around the same length. I'm not 100% sure. Excuse me. So, but yeah, so that'll mainly be my time. Oh yeah, of course, GTA 4 and 5 I'm gonna at least play. I might play 3. I'm not 100% sure on that fact, but I definitely will play 4 and 5. I've already played 5 in the past, so I've not played 4. I've also heard that 4, the main character's name is also Nico, which is my name. So I'll be playing it. If I had a nickel for the amount of games that I played with the main character's name was Nico, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but strange. It happened twice. Because I spell my name Nico and I KO, not CO. Like, to me, it seems it's a bit more rare than NICO, but maybe that's more on like American English or like Canadian English, because Nico is normally short for like Nikolai, right, or Nicholas, and I think the spelling of that can vary to be more like, but the K is more European. But yeah, and then indie games, I have like a bunch of indie games. Like the one I'm doing for the start of next year is Slay the Princess. It's made by Black Tabby Games. It's a studio that I actually knew before they released Slay the Princess, which was Scarlet Hollow, and they're still working on that game. It's a lot longer game than Slay the Princess is, and I'm very excited to try it out. I don't even think it's on this list, but if you see, it's Slay the Spire, But if you go in here, their Slay the Princess rating is actually quite high. I think it even might be in the top 100 for this list, to be honest. Like, it's considered that good. Yeah, see, it's 39 here. So, I'm kind of covering it, but trust me, it's right there. See, Slay the Princess. Yeah, that's the game I'll be playing next for indie games, but a lot of indie games are a lot shorter than AAA games. So, I'll be able to get through a bunch of them. A few of them was be like after Slay Princess, I'll be doing the Walking Dead Telltale series. I want to do Wolf Among Us, but they postponed Wolf Among Us 2, I guess. They said they're going to release at the end of this year, but obviously, well, end of 2024, which it's already the end of 2024, is not published, so we don't know when that's going to come out. I'll wait to play the first Wolf Among Us. The reason why I mentioned Wolf Among Us is because it's made by Telltale as well. And then there's other games like Firewatch, Her Story, Gone Home, Inscription, Doki Doki Literature Club, Short Hike. I don't know if I'll play Grist because they just released a new game called Neva. I don't know if I want to play Grist until I have Neva. I'm not too sure on that part. A bunch of those games like To the Moon, Finding Paradise, Imposter Factory. These are just about like a bunch of like indie games I have that I want to play. And sometimes like part of me is concerned also replaying Subnautica and playing the Subnautica games again because I really did enjoy them. But I heard there's Subnautica 2 gonna come out soon. Well, I mean not soon, but it's gonna go in early access. I don't want to really play the early access game, so I might not do Subnautica this year, but it's a game definitely on my radar for sure. As you can see, this list has a lot more indie games on here. So like this one, but I said I think it's a roguelike, so Hades technically is a roguelike, but I said there an exception for that one because it has there is a defined ending to the game. I played this indie game. I don't know if this is an indie game, but I will for sure play it. Yeah, this list is a lot better for like more indie games. This one is not as great. Like there is an indie game check mark. Check indie. So like I did Hades, did Disco, Outer Wilds. I think this is a game that you can only play once, and I've already played it, so I don't think it'd make a great playthrough of the channel. Maybe in like a few years if I forget of everything that happened in the game. Because I played it like 1 or 2 years ago, so maybe I can give it more time before I play it. I already played it. Spunkly, my understanding, there's no ending to the game. It's and it goes on forever. I could be wrong with that one. Undertale played. Rocket League did not. It's again, there's no ending to Rocket League. Braid. Did I get Braid Anniversary? I don't know if I did, but I'll eventually play Braid. Stardew is, I think, another game I might give an exception to. It was a game I think maybe I'll play this year because I love Stardew Valley. It does have an ending technically, but you can play the game for forever. But yes, there is technically a defined end for the game. So yeah, a lot of the indie games here, you can see there's a lot more. I'll be playing most of the games from this list. So like Fez I got recently. I already played Hollow Knight. I'm surprised Hollow Knight is so low on this list, and Hades is like way up here. Like Indisco Elysium, like I said, these were generally top 5, and like this one, but I'm surprised. Oh yeah, Outer Wilds is generally in the top. I don't know if it's top 5 or top 10, but Outer Wilds is definitely one of those games that's up there. I'm really surprised how low Hollow Knight is. I said Don't Nod. Life is Strange, so I did that one already. I mentioned Firewatch. Kentucky Road Zero is a game on my list, but I don't have it. Her Story. I want to play Cuphead eventually, but not for now. I have Super Hot. Yeah, there's just a bunch of games. I already played Hellblade. And I've played Stray, but not on the channel. But yeah, anyways, I'm kind of just like rambling. Like, oh yeah, this is a game I want to play. It's like, oh, I want to play Subnautica, the Below Zero. Like, I've already played it before. Yeah, I recently got the Cave Story. Well, I got Cave Story Plus. So I guess they've added a few things since this base one. So, I'm surprised Subnautica, the base game, is rated a lot lower than the second game. So I thought the first game was a lot better than the second game. But anyways, doesn't matter. I'm rambling now. I have probably already rambled way too long with this video anyway. But yeah, this is my channel review of all of 2024. What I thought of like each series I'm gonna play. I covered everything I'll cover in AAA. Just a lot of indie games, just because I'm liking the format I've been doing, that indie AAA. But might have to. We'll see. Again, a lot of it's really gonna depend on like how much school stuff I have to work on. In terms of like daily videos, it might be every other day for a while as well. And but again, I'll work on recording more. I really want to jump into Baldur's Gate. I'm downloading as I'm recording this, so I yeah, I'll be excited to try Baldur's Gate. Thank you for, by the way, for 9 subscribers. I know it's not a lot. Like it's starting to uploaded 254 videos on the channel. But every one of you means a lot to me. Like again, this is a channel for, I even say it here, this is a channel made for me to have a good time. Like anyone that wants to join my journey is welcome. That's why I'm putting up on here. But a lot of these games I want to play for myself and experience them for the first time. That's one thing I guess I kind of really didn't like with this year's. A lot of the games I played were repeat games. Like I played Shadow Tomb Raider again, which was fine because I wanted to re-experience the stealth, but it wasn't as good as I remembered it. But it was still good, don't get me wrong. Last of Us Part 2 I replayed. I've watched Life was Strange before. I already replayed Red Dead 2, but that was on my choice because, again, it's my favorite game of all times, and I was glad to replay it. Elden Ring I replayed, technically. I never technically beat the boss before. This was my first time beating the boss. Yeah, I stopped right here. I never beat Melania. My first playthrough, I stopped, I think, right before Melania. I did the Hog Tree, so I never went to Faro Azula, and I never did the ending. But so yeah, that was a replay. Actually, none of these games were replays. Nope, these were all completely new games. Control was a replay. Resident Evil, I watched all of them before, so yeah, so not replays, but just I've watched them. So hoping for next year, a lot more of the games will not be replays. The only exception again will be GTA 5, just because GTA 6 is coming out, and GTA 5 came out a very long time ago. Not a very long time ago. I think back in 2015, as you can see here on this list. So quite a while ago. And it's 2025 now. Geez, so it's like 10 years ago. So yeah, I'll be mainly playing games I haven't played before. I guess I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 for the second time. There's another one, but I'm hoping to get new experience out of Baldur's Gate 3, just because, again, it's a game that you can play differently each time. So I as much as I want to play the same class as I did my first playthrough, which was a Bard, I really want to play Bard. Like, I'm so tempted because it was so good. It's my favorite class because I felt like I had the most flexibility in just talking to people. But I will do my best to play in another class. But yeah, I'm hoping to play less games that I've played before. But there will be 2 games for sure that I've already played before. But I think that'll be fine. Like, Baldur's Gate is a great game, and obviously GTA 5 is good for what it is. And yeah, what else am I gonna say? But yeah, I think that's it. I think the main thing is just I wanted to stick to this list a lot more closely this year. Like, as I said, like there's 10 games in the top 10 list, and I've only played 2, I guess 3, if you count me doing the Resident Evil 4 remake instead of the base game. So I kind of want to get a lot more of these games, or at least more games in the top 50 covered. So even if we looked at the top 50, like, I wanted to play Silent 2 remake, but my computer's not strong enough to play it, so that's why I did not play on the channel. Diablo 2, didn't play it. This game is considered number 1 on this list, actually, if you go by all platforms. So I'll probably get that from my Switch to play it. I added this game, but I'm not really too sure about Knights of the Old Republic, to be honest. The original Mario Kart, I don't know. Not really a game with like a campaign, is it? I guess there technically is, but more of a party game in my mind. Metal Gear, and I've added to my list. Hades already played. Yeah, I'm not gonna play StarCraft because it's a game that it's a multiplayer game. Metroid, for sure I'll get to it. Days X, yep. Played, yep. I'll try my best to replay through Half-Life. Again, I played the first 3 hours of the game and I was like, God, please, this is. I don't know about Minecraft series. Again, there is an ending for the game, but it is a crafting sandbox, open world sandbox game. So like Red Dead, I'm gonna play Dark Souls. I will play Uncharted 2, but I don't know, like next year. Castlevania. But yeah, anyways, I'm rambling once more. A lot of these games I haven't played, so I want to get them more on the channel, so I can, because my goal of the channel is experience games that are like, oh, why do people say Breath of the Wild is the best game of all time? I've never played it before. I want to give it a chance, you know. So yeah, that's why I want to do that. And there's gonna be no games in 2025, of course. I don't think there's any 2024. Yeah, there's none for 2024. They added for 2023, but I guess because people have to make their best 2024 games of all time. There's 2023 lists, and I'm gonna play that on the channel. I just got this game, but I don't want to play it until I've played Breath of the Wild at a minimum. I haven't played Spider-Man 2 because I don't have a PS5. That's probably another game I'll get once I get PS5. Alan Wake 2, Dead Space. I did play the Hi-Fi Rush and Cocoon. Anyways, I'll keep saying that I stop rambling. These are even though I said already. Anyways, I hope you're excited for the games that I'll be playing next year, and I'm glad we've grown to 9 because my opinion, the hardest part of growing a YouTube channel is 0 to 10, really, or even like 0 to 100. So actually, I got to 9 on a channel that is just Let's Plays, and the stage is super saturated is like already kind of insane to me. And the fact that I'm not doing like unique thumbnails for each part, like you can just see I just changed the number, so I was kind of surprised with that. But yeah, thank you everyone who's subscribed. I really appreciate you, and I'll see how the channel goes next year. I hope to have a lot more playthroughs. I actually have been tracking my play. Oh yeah, I never actually showed you guys this one. Hopefully I'll do this one more time. Let me just log in. I have to do some stupid skill check thing. Okay, verify I'm human. Okay. Last thing I wanted to show, which is I've actually been recording all the games that I've played here. I need to add Undertale, which I'll do after I finish recording this, and to show you. So I've beat 37 games on the YouTube channel. I'm keeping track of them, how long I've been playing each one, as well has been added. So like I have Hi-Fi Rush, and the Sleeper, Saw It, Tomb Raider Rise, Life is Strange Remastered Collection. Technically, I didn't beat Before the Storm. Last of Us Remastered, Double Exposure. So yeah, I've added all the games here to this, you can see, and it keeps track. 34 PC games, 3 PS4 games, 34 unique games, 3 DLCs/expansions, which would be Hellblade, or not Hellblade, Helltaker. This is a DLC technically, or expansion. I've played, I guess, the DLC of Rise of the Tomb Raider, Baba Yaga, same with Hollow Knight. I did that DLC. This one is Resident Evil 4 Separate. That's a DLC. So I don't know which ones are marked as DLC. Oh yeah, and Shadow of the Erdtree's DLC as well. So this one's, I guess, this is base game plus DLC, and then these ones are like, that's a DLC, that's a DLC, and then this one's a DLC. So, and then yeah, you can see I have repeat, like I put games that I've already played before. Repeat Elden Ring. Technically, I never repeat Control. I technically never played Resident Evil, any of them, so I didn't put it as a repeat. But a few of the games I put were repeats. Repeat Last of Us 2. I need to add Shadow of the Tomb Raider here as well. I guess I didn't add that. So I'll add Shadow of the Tomb Raider as well. Yeah, I want to keep track of that, and we'll see. I've played a total of 21 days of single player games. Jesus. So yeah, I don't want to do any multiplayers. This will just be my How Long to Beat page for all the playthroughs I've done of each game. So we'll see how it is next year. This is my list for this year. A lot of great games on here. Hopefully you've either played them yourself, or maybe if you can't play them yourself, at least check out my playthrough on it and enjoyed them. Yeah, we'll see what great games I play next year, and I hope to see you at another video.